David Bowie.
This is my experience of David Bowie. When I used to run and own the Thomas Becket pub, we then found out the past where David Bowie is mentioned of the history of the Union Jack, not Union Jack pub, sorry,
Thomas Becket
pub on the Old Kent Road. David Bowie, as you know,
Just at
Brixton.
the pub with the boxing ring.
He was born in Brixton. While he was in Brixton, his mum, obviously it's a local area, you know, Brixton, Camberwell and all that, worked as a barmaid in Thomas Becket pub.
His mum worked in Thomas Becket.
Yes. He then, because his mum was there, used to use the boxing pub
On the second
area
floor.
on the second floor, on the first
floor.
On the first floor is a boxing ring, and David Bowie used to rehearse in the boxing ring, and the song that he composed, Ziggy Stardust, is composed in the Thomas Becket pub, but not in the boxing ring, in the little bedroom on the second floor, where my youngest daughter Zoe, when we bought the pub, she was only 11, sleep there, so she had on her wall David Bowie's lyrics.
Imagine the feng shui of her
Yes.
growing up in that
Now
room.
look at Zoe where she is.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's a hell of a connection.
It kind of makes you think that genetics and environment. Yes, definitely. That's a very interesting fact. You know, what do they call it? Not unique fact. There's a word for it. I always pick these phrases that I can't recall, so ignore me on that one. Fun fact. That's the word.
No,
it's a very good fun fact.
That is a good word, but there is a more deeper word than that. Spiritual is one, if you believe in religion of any sort. And then also, what is when someone can look back to the past and bring it forward?
Reflect on the past and bring it forward.
Regression.
Okay, regression is the looking back to the past and then bringing it forward. I don't know what the word for that is. Serendipity, when you feel like you've been there before.
That would be
When you feel like you've been there before in a moment.
But that one is not you feel because I was
Synchronicity,
there.
maybe.
No, synchronicity is when things just start happening and it's all like...
Yeah, it's when things happen
You do one new thing and all of a sudden, so-and-so's crossing the road who I haven't seen for 15 years, and then the phone rings, you suddenly get headhunted for something you've been trying to get into for ages, and then you buy a lottery ticket, you're the winner as well. Everything, that's synchronicity.
Synchronicity, of course, is the principle that Carl Gustav Jung, the philosopher who was a pupil of Freud, actually.
Are you acting? Are you in the drama school? Oh, sorry.
He developed this principle of synchronicity, where it's very fascinating, actually, where this is where you kind of get the notion of astrology coming in, where something that happens up there in the heavens simultaneously happens down here on Earth. And it's not that one causes the other, but it's like it's like they're
happening at the same time.
They're both guided by a third force. Now, I liken it to when you're driving a car, and you turn on your indicators. Now, on the outside of the car, your indicators flash to show you're turning left or right or whatever. And on the inside of the car, on the panel, your indicators display that. Your indicators are on there.
Yes.
But the one hasn't caused the other. The internal panel lights haven't caused the external lights to flash, or vice versa. It's you, as a third force, have caused both to happen.
Have affected
the principle of synchronicity, is where two things happen.
Yeah, you are causing two things to happen in two different realms.
That's right.
Yeah. Didn't they used to use astrology? I'll just add that also at the same time it was outlawed in some societies. Didn't they used to use it, or some parts of the world? Didn't they used to use it? The leaders, like kings and stuff. Didn't they used to use astrology in the early early age,
Yeah, it was
early
very common in
ages.
ancient times. Yeah,
To ancient times
And
to figure things
there are
out.
still Indian Hindu astrologers that use it as a guide to their
To sort of divine what's going to happen if they're going to
yeah.
war.
It was banned. I think Christianity is frowned on it for
That's
centuries.
when because I said it was
Because
outlawed
it's-
at certain
yeah,
points in
that's
some
right,
countries.
Christianity. But there are
Made
other
illegal.
religions which do still, acknowledge and use.
Didn't Western religion?
Astrology,
Yeah,
I looked into astrology a while back, about 40 years ago.
I don't believe in it myself,
I
although-
got quite interested in astrology, and it all happened because I was staying at my first wife's brother's house in Bournemouth over Christmas, and as a Christmas present, their mother, my ex-wife's mother, my mother-in-law.
It's funny how we pivoted from Ziggy Stardust and
Yeah, I know.
Nolias First Pub and David Bowie to we're now on astrology.
I know we got
Not all
onto-
links.
we got on the word synchronicity,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is a kind of a bit of a tangent, a bit of a
No,
distraction
it does
from what we're
does link from
But
what she was.
on the other hand, it sort of links into this notion of it's almost like coincidences.
Yeah.
And there are many people believe there's no such thing as coincidences. That everything happens, for a reason and to a plan. You see. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this idea of synchronicity is,
part of that.
taps right into that. Yeah. So my ex-wife's brother for Christmas, their mother gave him this book of do-it-yourself astrology, teach yourself astrology basically. And after he unwrapped it and he had a look, and people were unwrapping presents, and I sort of picked up this book, and for the rest of the Christmas period, that was it. It was mine. I couldn't put it down. And then 2 weeks later was my birthday,
Hooked on it.
so she knew exactly what to get me for my birthday.
Yeah.
So I started studying the beginnings of astrology, and I found it very fascinating. And I learned some very important things through the study of astrology, even just basic study. I never went into it in a big way, never became a practicing astrologer.
Yeah.
But I did learn some very fascinating things from the study of astrology.
Yeah.
And one of them was this notion of, the synchronicity, where the way that the heavenly bodies move reflect or are reflected by things that happen here
Didn't
on
the
Earth,
Egyptians
to individual people's lives and also in the
Didn't the Egyptians
influence on-
refer
on
to
society?
Yeah, didn't the Egyptians refer to the stars a lot? Even in terms of they say in the design of their pyramids.
Most ancient cultures did. Most ancient
predicted
cultures
things.
had a kind of
the Chinese, the
an
Egyptians,
acknowledgement of astrology as a very useful tool.
the Incas.
Yeah.
All of these people seem to
they all had
refer to astrology.
they all had their their handles on astrology.
Some of the belief system.
I mean,
Well,
and
but they didn't have books and TV and stuff like that.
see-
And some of so they had what they could see around them, the elements, the sky and the sea and the land.
That's right. They would have noticed that they would be observing the heavens, and they'd see the stars,
heavens,
the
I mean, and
positions,
land and the sea.
positions of the stars.
Yeah.
And then the more intelligent ones among them would notice that these
There's
coincided
some patterns
with patterns
And coincided with what happened here on Earth.
on Earth. That's right. Yeah. Exactly.
Especially the agricultural societies where they were farming and dependent on the seasons for their survival, for food and getting shelter in time and
yeah,
heat
yeah.
and basic survival. They would have been very aware of these changes, repetitive changes in their environment.
Yeah.
I guess even if you're a hunter-gatherer and you had to travel over many miles, sometimes in the day or the night time, and you had to navigate somehow, and if you couldn't see what's immediately in front of you, you've always got the sky, isn't it? To kind of know how do you get back to your village after you've tracked some animal you've been hunting for a day, you know what I mean?
Something like that, yeah.
And then you got to get back to your.
And especially, of course, it was, the position of the stars were back in the days before any technology really to speak of. They were used to, chart the positions of ships at sea.
Yeah.
You'd be crossing a big sea. In those days, the Mediterranean was a big sea because you couldn't see from one side to the other. When you set off out into the Mediterranean, and
it all looked the same.
You lost sight of land that you'd come from. And
everything
you
looked the same. Yeah, everything looked the same.
Then the only thing that you'd have to fixate on was the positions of the stars.
Again, because everything looked the same all around you, except for what was above you.
Yeah. Anyway,
did it change? Did it change as you reach different parts of the globe? Does the stars, the positions that you see things change? So again, so that means
if you could suddenly transport yourself instantaneously from, let's say, from here to Australia, you'd see the same constellations of stars and things, but they would look
like back to front or something.
Essentially be orientated.
So
180
where you would
degrees.
look out on your boat, and you could just see horizon and sea, like to an infinite degree, like nothing's changing for days, weeks and months, I guess, in some cases. What you're suggesting, or what you're not suggesting, what you're actually stating, is that those who used to navigate by look to the sky and navigate by stars, they in that environment they'll be able to see change in relation to where they're located, like GPS. But they would have that understanding.
And there was an instrument devised, I'm not sure exactly when, sometime in the 17th or 18th century, quite possibly, called the sextant.
Not sextant, I was going to say, the sextant.
The sextant, which I'm not even sure how it worked, but it enabled people at sea.
It was magnetism and water, isn't it? It's like you'll have, in its rudimentary form, I think it's like you've got a ball floating on water, and you've got a stick on top of it, call it an arrow. One end means one thing, one end not identical either side. Maybe you can just have a stick going across, but I think that's where the arrow thing came from. And if you put it on the water, as you moved from location to location, magnetism, the Earth's polar pull is what made it move, isn't it? So that way's north, where the arrow's pointing, that way's south, east and west.
I think it may just be like a sort of a highly sophisticated compass.
Yes. The early mechanism.
That's what they devised.
Well, this is just movies. This was just movies, but they used this in some of the Viking movies to suggest that's how Vikings navigated to get from Scandinavia when they first came to the UK. Because some people in their culture said it didn't exist. There was nothing beyond the local places they used to raid, and it was one particular leader who, from his father, I think, he tried to find England, didn't, and he wanted to achieve it in his lifetime, and he was the one who found it. And then they started to raid the UK because he got the tip from somebody who managed to travel other parts of the world that you can use this thing to navigate, and that's what they used. But that could just be Hollywood. Okay, well, we've gone from, where did we start off?
David Bowie
to the navigating by the stars, serendipity, and
by
synchronicity, and we've ended up on the subject of early nautical navigation. Well, we'll be back with you at some point in the future to continue this theme. You've been listening to, again, David Williams, myself, Owen, as CornerSpeak, and it's been the CornerSpeak podcast. Be safe, be strong, be creative.
Stay in school.
We out.